Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. If it is visible on your screen,
Yes, sir.
okay. So in the last lecture, we discussed about the whenever we are increasing the frequency in a different medium, like a good conductor, dielectric, or maybe a free space, then the three parameters will be changed according to the medium. One is velocity of the signals, second is intrinsic impedance, and third, the direction. So right now we are not considering about the direction. Direction is means in terms of the angle. Angle is slightly changed whenever you are changing the medium from one to the another one. We also discuss about the skin effect and the depth of penetration. For that, we derive the equation of electric field and magnetic field in terms of the free space. And based on this, we are trying to find out whenever 37 percentage of the maximum value will be useful to penetrate your signal inside the any medium, then it is considered as a depth of penetration. So this term is very very important because based on this we can easily identify the which frequency which is supported by the any waveguide. Like the main question is why the coaxial cable cannot be supported the frequency which is in terms of the gigahertz. But if you deal with the optical fiber, then it can support the frequency in terms of the light as well as the in terms of the high frequency. Because of the reason is the depth of penetration. So for that, we are considering the one conductor and we are given the frequency which is vary from 100 hertz to the approximately 100 gigahertz. And if you find out the depth of penetration equation, then you can easily identify frequency as well as the depth of penetration both are inversely proportional to each other. So whenever you are increasing the frequency, your depth of penetration or the skin depth cannot go inside to your conductor. It means current is only just touch to the boundary of your conductor. Your signal cannot be penetrate throughout your conductor. So whenever the frequency is increasing, depth of penetration will be decreasing by using the equation 1 upon under root of pi f mu into conductivity. At the same time, when you are changing the material, like can I choose the better conductor like a aluminum, copper, maybe a gold? So when you are using the gold, the question is you are increasing the frequency at the same time the depth of penetration is also increasing. And when you are using the material which is also the gold, then the second option is your depth of penetration is further decreased because both are inversely proportional. So we have taken one example and we are identify the skin depth where current try to move at the outer side of your conductor, which is considered as a skin effect. And for that, why it is something like this? The reason is because of the resistance which may be considered in terms of the any conductor, like a R is equal to rho L upon A, where L is the length of the conductor, rho is the resistivity, and A is the area which is covered by the current through, or maybe it is a cross section area of the current. So whenever you are increasing the frequency, the area which is covered by the current is very less. If area is less, definitely resistance is very high. So at a high frequency, this all kind of your conductor which may be act as a some kind of a open circuit, so we cannot use. So next parameter we discuss about when you are transmitting the any electromagnetic wave in a different medium. Exactly, we are transmitting the not a voltage, not a current, but we are transmitting the power. Like if you see the smartphone battery, which is mentioned the voltage as well as the current, and the power which is transmitted with your electromagnetic wave. So next part we are trying to find out the power as well as the Poynting vector. So electromagnetic wave normally useful to transfer the energy from one location to another one. Helium waves can be useful for the transmission of the energy from one location to the another one. Okay. So now, like you can consider the any power generator unit which can generate some power, and whenever suppose consider the power generator unit is located maybe 1000 kilometer far away, and I want to transmit the energy or maybe power from this location to somewhere else over here. Okay. The distance between these two is approximately 1000 kilometer. So whenever you deal with electrical signals and you are transmitting these electrical signals with some conductor, it requires some time to move these electrical signals because electrical signal have a velocity which is not similar to the velocity of light. It's very less compared to the velocity of the light. So what we are doing, we are converted this electrical signals in terms of the electromagnetic wave which carry a high power, and we are transmitting in terms of the electromagnetic wave compared to the electrical signals. Okay. And at a resource side, we are converted further electromagnetic to the electrical signal, so we can use it. So our basic aim, we are transmitting the power in a free space. So how you can achieve the power which is associated with a electromagnetic wave by using the mathematical formula. So we discuss about the Maxwell's equation in terms of the time varying behavior, where the first equation is curl of H and second equation is the curl of E. So curl of H bar you can write down, curl of H bar is equal to J plus del D upon del T. This is called at the Maxwell's equation in a time varying behavior. Del cross H is equal to J plus del D upon del T. Now, if I put the value of J is equal to sigma into E, why it is necessary? Because J is nothing but your current density. You are deal with some current or you are deal with some conductor. It means it is the current density. So J can be replaced is equal to conductivity into the electrical field, which is nothing but your potential. And the D is equal to, you can replace epsilon into E. So you are getting the first equation, which is mentioned on your screen. Del cross H is equal to sigma E plus epsilon del E upon del T, where sigma is your conductivity. Okay. And the second equation, you can also take the curl of E or del cross E is equal to minus del B upon del T. Second equation of the Maxwell's is del cross E is equal to minus del B upon del T. Now B is equal to, you can replace the mu 0 into H because you are using the different medium, so it's not a similar to the free space. So either you can write down the mu 0 mu r into H, or either you can write down only mu into H. Both are the valid answer. So you are getting the second equation in a second slide, which is mentioned the using the Maxwell's equation del cross E is equal to minus mu del H upon del T. This two equation is necessary to derive the Poynting vector. Poynting vector is nothing but a power which is associated with your electromagnetic wave. Okay. Now, if you see this equation, like in a first slide, you are getting the del cross H is equal to sigma E plus epsilon del E upon del T. In a right hand side, it is a magnetic field. In a left hand, right hand side, it is a electric field, and the left hand side, it is a magnetic field. But you require the combination of both the signals or both the field, electrical as well as the magnetic field. So what we are doing, we have just taken the multiply with a electric field. So what we are doing, we are taking the dot operation with the left hand side as well as the right hand side. So what we are getting, E dot del cross H is equal to, you are multiply the E, so you can directly multiply it, del square E square plus E dot epsilon del E upon del T. Now, if you see this equation, E dot del cross H, we are applying the vector identity. Vector identity is nothing but a, if you find out the answer of E dot del cross H, which is similar to the equation which is given on your screen, which is mentioned with the vector identities. Del dot H cross E equal to E dot del cross H minus H del cross E. This is called the vector identity. Okay. What we are doing, we are taken the two vector and we are trying to find out the curl. So you can see E cross H and you are trying to find out the dot operation. Dot. So what we are mentioning, E dot del cross H minus H dot del cross E. This is called the vector identity. Now, if I see the equation of the vector identity, already you are getting the first term, which is considered as the E dot del cross H. E dot del cross H, which is already mentioned on your screen. So if you make an object and based on this equation, you can try to find out the E dot del cross H. So this equation can be replaced del dot H cross E plus H dot del cross E, which is mentioned with equation number 1, and just consider in a left hand side. So whatever the equation you are taken, dotting the both the side of electric field, this equation can be replaced using the vector identity, and you are getting the equation number 1 on your first slide, which is mentioned with a left hand side, H dot del cross E plus del dot H cross E. Now right hand side is similar to this one, del cross E, but instead of this E, now we are taken the RMS value. So it's a maximum divided by √2. So that's why you have a 2 electric field in this equation. So it is E square and it's a 1 by √2, 1 by √2, it's a 1 by 2. So 1 by 2 epsilon del square del E square upon del T. Now, if you consider the equation number 1 on the first slide, the unknown part is still pending, which is mentioned with a del cross E. Because what we require from the equation number 1, you require the del dot H cross E. We require this parameter. Okay, but you can see H dot del cross E is still pending. So how you can find out? For that, you have to take the Maxwell's second equation, which is the del cross E is equal to minus del H upon del T. This is called the Maxwell's second equation. This is already discussed. Now, same mathematical step you have to taken. Right now it is del cross E, so you have to multiply with the H. If you multiply it, what you are getting in a left hand side, H dot del cross E is equal to H dot minus mu del H upon del T. but HH is both are the vector, so you can directly multiply it. So finally you are getting the mu del H square upon del T. But instead of the H, now you can replace the maximum value. It's a maximum, sorry, RMS value. So it's a H divided by root 2. So if I put the value H divided by root 2, you are getting the second equation in a second slide. Now, if I replace this value in a equation number 1, if I replace this value minus mu upon 2 del H square upon del T, this equation will be replaced in this equation, equation number 1 in a first slide. If you substitute this equation, you are getting the equation minus mu upon 2 del H square upon del T minus del E cross H equal to the right hand side, del E square plus 1 by 2 epsilon del E square 2. Now, if you see the equation which is mentioned with the equation number 4 on a second slide, somehow you have to simplify it. So we are just trying to find out the del dot E cross H, because we require the multiplication of these two factor. One is electric field and second is the magnetic field. So what you are getting, del dot E cross H is equal to whatever the term which is mentioned in equation number 4. So they are just taken in a right hand side, so they becomes a minus. So finally you are getting the minus del E square minus 1/2 epsilon del E square upon del T minus mu by 2 del H square upon del T. Now, if you see the equation, E square is nothing but a what? It's a power, because E is your energy. Electrical field, it's nothing but it's a energy. But when you are make it the square, it becomes a mode of E square. It means it is a power. So they becomes a power. Okay. So what we are doing? We are just taken the volume integral in both the sides. The reason is we have always taken the some volume for any particular charge distribution. So we have taken the volume integral in both the sides. So you can write down this term integral of the del dot E cross H into dV, because we have taken the differential volume. Same way, you have taken the volume integral in right hand side. So you are getting integral of the del E square into dV. And same case, you can separate out the del by del T term, because this term is common. So you can write down 1/2 epsilon square plus 1/2 epsilon mu into H square. Now, this operation, it doesn't gives me the power, because they are an operator which is nothing but a del operator. Okay, so instead of this volume integral, now we are converted this equation in terms of the surface. So now you can apply the Diogenes theorem from conversion of volume to surface. So if you see the left hand side equation, volume integral del dot E cross H into dV, which can be replaced with a equation E cross H into ds, where this volume is surrounded with a different surfaces. So that's why it is mentioned with a closed loop surface integral E cross H into ds. And no need to consider for the right hand side. Right hand side is as it is. So finally you are getting the term which is mentioned on your screen, which is the surface integral E cross H dot ds equal to minus del by del T, 1/2 epsilon square plus 1/2 mu H square into dV and minus del E square upon dV. Now see, all the term which may be related to your power, because E cross H is also the power which is considered as a Poynting vector. 1/2 epsilon E square, this is the power associated with the electrical field. 1/2 mu H square, which is power associated with a magnetic field. And the last one, which is meant sigma E square, this is the ohmic loss. This is called the ohmic loss, like you are always mentioned is the I square R, ohmic loss. This is the similar term, but representation is slightly different. They are mentioning the conductivity in the electrical field. Okay. So if you see the equation, the three important part, one is the ohmic loss. Second is this energy associated with the electrical field and magnetic field. You can see, which is the time varying behavior.
because they are term which is mentioned with a del by del t. So it's a del by del t, which is indicate your energy will be decreasing whenever you are moving with a distance. Okay, why it is decreasing? Because it have a sign which is the negative sign compared to the E cross H dot ds. That's why. And the right and left hand side, which is mentioned with a closed loop E cross H dot ds, where E cross H so E cross H dot ds, which is nothing but a power associated with your electric field and magnetic field, but they are surface related, and it is a closed loop surface integral. So this terminology E cross H, which is considered as a Poynting vector, because they are measuring in terms of the watt per meter square. So they are mentioning the some notation which is considered as P is equal to P is from the Poynting vector is equal to E cross H. So why this term is very interesting? Because it gives me instantaneous power density which is associated with the electromagnetic wave. Like if I give simple example, when you are transmitting the some power in terms of the EM waves, okay, like you are transmitting the power from this location to the some another location which is the 10 meters far away. So if I measure the power associated with this wave at a 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, 4 meter, or maybe at last 10 meters, then each and every point you are getting the different power. What is the reason behind that? Any answer? What is the reason behind that? Because the electromagnetic waves have a tendency, it will be absorbed by any object which may be a temperature greater than the absolute 0 Kelvin. If the object have a temperature which is the greater than the absolute 0 Kelvin, then it can absorb or it can reflect the power. Which power? Electromagnetic wave power. Okay, so definitely in a real world, the each and every object have a temperature which is greater than 0 Kelvin, so they can absorb the power, electromagnetic power. Okay, so if it will absorb, it means it will be decrease its intensity or maybe a power associated with her waves. So that's why for each and every location you are getting the change in the density levels. So that's why the Poynting vector gives me what? It's a instantaneous power density which is associated with your electromagnetic wave. This is the meaning of the Poynting vector. In a GTO exam, it may be asked derive the Poynting vector equation. Then you have to derive up to this E cross H, which is mentioned with a rate of decreasing energy, which is stored with electrical and magnetic field, and the ohmic loss. So same phenomena which may be mentioned in a graphical form, where Poynting theorem, which is mentioned like in terms of the mathematical equations, further they are mentioned in terms of the graphical form. So what they exactly indicate? If you see the equation of E cross H, which is nothing but a Poynting vector. Okay, remember it's a difference in terms of the Poynting vector and Poynting theorem. E cross H, which is considered as a Poynting vector, and the right hand side, which is mentioned, which is indicate the Poynting theorem. So the Poynting theorem is indicate whatever the power which is flow outside the to a particular volume, which may be similar to the rate of the decreasing the energy which is associated with the electrical and the magnetic field and ohmic loss. Clear?
So that's why you can see there's a one volume is given. In this volume, there is some ohmic loss, which is nothing but a I square R, and some kind of stored energy in terms of the electrical field as well as the magnetic field. It means there is some capacitor is also there which can store your energy, and some magnetic field is there which have some inductor is also present. So whenever if you find out the power which may be leaving from this volume, which is similar to how much, it's a suppression of these two phenomena. One is the rate of decreasing energy and the ohmic loss. This is called the Poynting vector. Sorry, this is called the Poynting theorem. So it may be as define the Poynting vector or Poynting theorem, then you have to explain these two phenomena. And now we are not interested to derive in terms of the mathematical equation for the power and Poynting vector. Already discussed this part, but they are trying to find out the solution of this one. But instead of this one, what we are doing, we are taken one medium, and from this medium, when you are transmitting some waves, which is nothing but an electromagnetic wave, then it may be possible the signals will be reflected back, or maybe signals will be transmitted. So suppose consider there is a one object, and you are transmitting some electromagnetic wave to this particular object. Now object have a tendency to either reflect the signals, or either it may be generated in another direction, or it means transmitted in another direction. So any waves have a some tendency, or any medium has some tendency to partially they are reflected signals, or it may be generated in a transmitted. Why it is necessary? Because at a high frequency, we are always interested in the reflection part. Up till now, whatever the signals you are transmitting in terms of the circuitry, we are interested only for the maximum power transfer. They are always taken in terms of the maximum power transfer. Okay, but when you are increasing the frequency, maximum power transfer is only happen whenever you are satisfied the impedance, which is the uh, minimum impedance, which should be minimum. It means there's a no difference in terms of the impedance mismatch for the specific medium. Like a simple example, suppose you are connected with your set-top box with some antenna, which may be some microwave kind of your antenna, which already you are knowing Tata Sky, Reliance, DTH, these are different kind of disc are there. So disc is some kind of antenna, and the set-top box have some kind of some transmitted circuit. You are connected this transmitted circuit with a this disc, or maybe antenna with some wire, which is called as a feeder cable. So what are the circuit you are deal in terms of the set-top box, which have a different material? It means capacitor have a different material. What are the different components you are added? It have a different material. What are the antenna you are utilized for the transmission or to communicate with your satellite? It's also a different material. And whatever the wire we are utilized for connection between your set-top box to your antenna, which is also the different material. So you can see different material is nothing but a what? Whenever you are transmitting the same signals, because you have some electricity we are given to this set-top box. They are process some data, because we are given the input as well as some electrical signals. After that one, they are given this data in terms of the electrical signals to the antenna, and the antenna have a tendency to convert into electromagnetic wave. But each and every case is we have a difference in terms of the impedance. And already you are knowing the free space have an impedance is 120 pi. So because of the mismatch in terms of the impedance, it may be possible the signals will be reflected as well as the signals may be transmitted. So if it is a transmitted, then it's fine, but sometime what's happened, it may be reflected. So if it is reflected, it may be damage your input circuitry, or maybe transmitted circuitry, and the working wise is also not perfectly converted your electrical to the electromagnetic wave. That's why we are understand the mechanism or the reflection of the plane wave for the any normal incidence. So you can see we are taken one waves which is transmitted in a positive z direction. On your screen,
there is a two different color which is mentioned. One is gray color and second is the blue color. Gray color is indicate the medium one, and the blue color, which is sky blue color, which is indicate with a medium two. So whenever if you are see this two medium is nothing but it's a combination of the two different material, like a antenna to free space, your feeder cable to the antenna, your transmitted circuit to the feeder cable. These are the two different medium. So whenever the medium is different, then there is a possibility for the reflection. So first of all, we have to understand this figure. In this figure, which is mentioned with a medium one and medium two, medium one have some different electrical and magnetic property, and medium two have some different electrical as well as the magnetic properties. Okay. Now, each and every electrical components or magnetic components have a two components in terms of the tangential as well as the normal. So how many of you are knowing what is the tangential components and what is the normal components? Normal means what we are understand. For any electrical field which have a two components. When we are discussing the starting of this syllabus, we are discussing the vector algebra, where there is a one rule which is considered as a parallelogram rule. We are find out the some vector using the parallelogram rule. Parallelogram rule is indicate that any vector can be represented with two components, tangential plus normal. Tangential, which is indicate which is the parallel components and parallel to your surface, and normal, which is indicate to the perpendicular components to your surface. So it is similar thing over here on your screen. You can identify there is a one dot. Dot is nothing but a what? Just concentrate on a medium one part where some incidence wave is there. The wave which is transmitted from the medium one to the medium two, which is mentioned with a dot with a some circle, which is mentioned the incident wave. Now, this incident have a two components. One is normal and second is the tangential, depending upon the magnetic field and depending upon the electrical field. Both the field is also mentioned on your screen. But whenever this signal which is travel from the medium one to medium two, so you can see in a medium two, which is the sky blue color, which is mentioned the transmitted wave. The signals will be transmitted from medium one to medium two, but it may be possible the signal will be reflected from the x-axis. X-axis, which is nothing but a intersection between the medium one and medium two. So that's why in a gray color, you can identify in a gray color, which is nothing but a medium one, where there is a one dot with a circle and there is one cross mark with a circle. But in a medium two, you have only transmitted wave. Okay. So now same thing you have to mention in terms of the mathematical formula. How we can mention it? We are transmitting some wave which is nothing but a function of the z. That's why it is mentioned the Ez. And their travel in terms of the z direction, it means your amplitude will be exponentially decreased with a either distance or either a different propagation constant like a attenuation constant as well as the phase shift constant. So that's why ei0 e raised to minus gamma 1z, because right now we are dealing with a medium one. But in this case, you have a component is x, and they travel with a z direction. And same thing in terms of the magnetic field, you have a component which is the hi, I is for the normal, z, which is the same thing hi e raised to minus gamma 1z, but now the component for the magnetic field is the ay, because the electrical and magnetic field is always perpendicular. So same field we are represented in terms of the electrical field by just divide with the intrinsic impedance eta 1. So this is only for the incident wave.
Now, if the signal is reflected, so you are knowing reflected signals always occur in an opposite direction to the Z. Reflected signals is always occur which is in a opposite direction to the Z. So you can see the second figure where reflected signal have a direction which is mentioned in a medium one. This is our reflected waves. So what is the change over here? It's a ERZ. I is for the reflected, which have some amplitude because reflected signals also some amplitude ER0, and they are have a opposite direction with a Z. That's why it is e raised to minus gamma 1 Z. And the component which is similar to the AX. Same way in terms of the H, which have a HR0 e raised to gamma 1 Z, but the component which is nothing but a AY. And they are also mentioned in terms of the electrical field with a divided with a eta 1. So we are just mentioning the equation in terms of the graphical form. We are mentioning the incident wave, reflected wave, and the transmitted wave in terms of the mathematical formula. And similar for the transmitted wave, you can identify over here for the medium 2. Now the transmitted wave is occur in a medium 2. So it's a EZ equal to some transmitted, it means it has some amplitude, and it 0 minus gamma 2Z because gamma 2 is the propagation constant for the medium 2, and the component is AX. And similar for the magnetic field, it have a HT0 e raised to minus gamma 2Z into AY, and they're also mentioned in terms of the electrical field with a divided with a eta 2. Okay. Because based on we can find out this eta 1 and eta 2, which is nothing but your reflection coefficient. So now from this three figure, we can easily understand whenever you have a impedance mismatch, it may be a chances of the signals which may be transmitted, not 100% transmitted, but some of the power will be reflected back in a same medium. So we're just mentioning these three waves in terms of the mathematical formula, which has some direction is there and some magnitude part is there. So based on this, we can easily find out this reflection coefficient as well as the transmission coefficient. Why it is necessary? Because when you are designing this kind of a structure for the conversion of electrical to electromagnetic wave, this parameter reflection coefficient, transmission coefficient, and VSWR, it's very, very important. So you should know about this reflection coefficient as well as the transmission coefficient. So I think in a next lecture, we discuss about how we can find out this reflection coefficient, transmission coefficient, as well as the VSWR. Is there any doubt? Okay, so your lecture is finished now. Now you may leave from this meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Okay.